is Rayna Rose Exelbierd, and I am the CEO, Chief Empowerment Officer of the Rose Grows. Catch me on this week's episode of the Jessie T Show.
So when you were serving in the Army, was it the Israeli Army?
Yes.
Yep. I have a really good buddy here locally who is, he did some special ops stuff in the Israeli Army. And I know that they do like mandatory 2 years or 3 years up until you're like 45 or 48 or something like that. Is that kind of what it was for you?
Yeah. So a lot of Israelis were so confused because I was like, I chose to do this. Like I volunteered to do this for 3 months. Because if you're an Israeli citizen, if you're a male, you go for 3 years. Now, if you're female, you go for 2 and 3/4 of a year. 3/4 of a year now that we're like being more equal. But I have to tell you, the biggest thing that I got from being in the Army was I used to have a really, really bad temper, which I know is funny now for people who meet me because like I'm so chill. But like I used to be that person who like 0 to 100 real quick, like cut me off in traffic, waste my time. And the first week I was volunteering in the Army, they woke me up in the middle of the night. And mind you, I had a commander who looked like a cross between Peter Griffin and Harry Potter. Okay.
That's a great combination.
Yeah. Like just, super nerdy. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like this is my commander. And he woke me up in the middle of the night and proceeds to tell me how I'm disrespectful and I'm rude and I'm always talking when other people are talking. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, really? I'm like, I tell everybody to be quiet when you're speaking. Like, I'm so respectful. And I'm not really like proud of this moment. But when he made me start running, I threw my gun on the ground because I was so pissed. I was so angry. And I was running and running. And then finally at the end, he was like, okay, you can go back, to your tent now. And I'm sure that the listeners can all like identify with this moment of sometimes when you're so mad and you're running away, you trip, you trip bad. So as I'm like running back to my tent, I trip so bad on the gravel and my commander is like, let me help you. And I remember I started screaming at him. I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I don't need your help. I've got my own help. Like I went insane. Damn. And the reason I tell you this story is because the next morning when I went to breakfast, my friends from England who had been smoking cigarettes during the night, they were laughing so hard at me, Jesse. They were crying because they were like, dude, you got so mad last night. And just like hearing that from them and then also losing the opportunity to learn how to shoot the first week of the Army because of my temper, I can honestly say since I was 18, there's maybe been like 2 times in my life where I've ever gotten like that angry. And in both those 2 scenarios, I think it was like me being around somebody who like brought not good energy out of me.
Triggered you.
Yeah.